mother and her 2 daughters were found dead in their own home, but no one knows for sure what really happened. Was it a tragic accident? A family tragedy? Or is there a hidden truth that no one dares to see? This is the chilling mystery of the Anaqua Springs Ranch case, a story that will leave you questioning everything. Among the wealthy few who called Anaqua Springs Ranch home was 37-year-old Nicole Olson, a mother who had worked hard to build a comfortable life. She moved into the sprawling, multi-million-dollar home of her boyfriend, Charles Wheeler, a successful entrepreneur. Her 2 daughters, 16-year-old Alexa Montez and 10-year-old London Bribiescas, joined her in what seemed to be a perfect life. Alexa was a high school cheerleader, full of energy and dreams of going to college. London was the light of every room, a little gymnast who never stopped smiling. Together, they were a picture of happiness. But as we all know, pictures can lie. Behind closed doors, Nicole and Charles's relationship was far from perfect. Friends and family knew about frequent fights, whispers of control issues, and emotional turmoil. Nicole confided in friends that the relationship had dark moments. There were arguments, accusations, slammed doors, a growing tension that made her uneasy. On the night of January 9th, 2019, neighbors reported hearing an argument. Voices were raised. Something was wrong, but no one could have guessed the horror that would follow. That night, Charles Wheeler left the house after a heated argument. He later told investigators that he went to stay with a relative. But here's where the mystery begins. When Charles left, Nicole and her daughters were alive. By morning, they were all dead. The next morning, Charles returned home, but something was wrong. The house, usually filled with the sound of laughter, was eerily silent. A chilling stillness filled the air. He walked upstairs and found Nicole, Alexa, and London lifeless. Each had been shot in the head. A gun lay near Nicole's body. He called 911, his voice shaking. Police arrived to a disturbing scene. Nicole and her daughters had been shot execution style. The official theory? A murder-suicide. Authorities ruled that Nicole shot her daughters before turning the gun on herself, but something didn't add up, forensic experts noted. No suicide note, no prior history of violence from Nicole. The gunshot wounds were precise, almost too precise. Nicole's family and friends refused to believe she was capable of this. And then came the biggest contradiction of all. Nicole's death was ruled a suicide, but her daughters' deaths, homicides. As investigators struggled for answers, theories began to swirl. Did Nicole really do this? Or was she framed? Was someone else in the house that night? Could Charles Wheeler know more than he admitted? Charles Wheeler was the last person to see them alive. Despite being named a person of interest, he was never charged. His alibi held up. There was no evidence linking him to the deaths. Forensic analysis found no fingerprints on the gun, no signs of forced entry, no clear motive for Nicole to harm her daughters. Some believe that Nicole didn't pull the trigger, that someone else did, someone who knew how to cover their tracks. Others suggest that Nicole may have been coerced, or that something even darker happened within the walls of Anaqua Springs Ranch that night. The house still stands, empty, silent, frozen in time. Some say they feel an uneasiness when they drive by, as if the walls themselves remember the tragedy. Others believe that the truth was buried along with Nicole, Alexa, and London. The case remains open but cold. There are no arrests, no convictions, just whispers and speculation. The most terrifying stories are not the ones we find in books or movies. They are the ones that leave behind unanswered questions, shattered families, and whispers in the dark. And sometimes, the scariest thing of all is knowing that we may never find out the truth. What do you think really happened that night? Was it a tragic case of a mother snapping under pressure? Or was there something more sinister at play? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, some secrets are never meant to be uncovered.